to be able to invite in Mayank Mansingh Kaul, who will join online from India, and Anjana Das from India, but who's with us in the room. So see you back here at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Allô?
Hello, hello. Excuse me, can I ask everybody to continue the conversation outside so we can do a tech check in here? Unless you're staying for the film session, then of course feel free to stay.
Hello, hello?
To continue outside because we need to do a tech check here. Na, der kleine Ibi. So eine süße Maus. Ja, die können ja auch, also wenn sie nicht zu der Filmsession bleiben wollen, mal gucken, wie viele überhaupt bleiben. Okay, dann machen wir jetzt den Soundcheck. So, for sound check, this is kind of how I speak. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. checking phase here. Everybody can close their eyes and ignore what's happening. Michelle and Noel, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello? Yes.
Hello.
Cool.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
And is your camera, we can hear you, Noel and Michelle, and
Yeah.
are your cameras on?
Yes. 1 second. Here is
Yes.
mine.
And here is
I
mine.
don't know
Oh,
if
I
it's
see
working.
Noel on a train.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Um,
And
can
I
you see me?
Michelle, you're still a black frame.
Let me try again. I'm still a black frame.
Yes.
Okay.
And Noel, you can see us, I guess.
I cannot see you.
Ah,
I can see visual, the fashion.
Okay, you see the.
Maybe I should click on something to see you. The fashion. Let's see. No.
No, I think it's
No, I
okay. I
don't
think
think
we have
I
to do
can see
something
it.
on our side so that you can see us.
But I can hear you. That's very good already. That it's not cutting.
Okay. I will leave and come back into the link. Okay. To see
Okay.
what's the problem with the camera.
Okay. Okay, so the camera is facing the. Yeah, so I think it's just a question of this. Can we move the camera a little bit? Following the person who's speaking? Okay. So Noel, Noel, you can see my back now probably. Noel is frozen on a train. Yeah. Can you see me
Hi.
now?
Hi. I can see you.
Cool. This is funny that the train connection is working better than the static connection in, I don't know if Michelle is in Marseille or in Paris.
It's weird. It's working, but it's the video. But I'm trying to fix it. Very weird because in the testing before I get into the meeting, I can see myself and all everything's working. But when I'm with you, it's not visible.
Do you know what to do? Is it on our side that you cannot see Michelle? It's on her side, not on our side. Because Michelle, on our side we can see your name written on the screen. So we get some kind of signal from you and we get your sound.
I didn't get it. What?
We
You
can
can
see
see
your
my
name
name, right?
written on the screen, on your screen, and
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah.
So the connection is there.
Yeah. I don't know what's with the camera. Even in the testing, the camera works, and when I get into the meeting, it doesn't work anymore. So I'm trying from my phone, just in case there's something.
Okay, Michelle, in any case, we can we can hear you, and I think you
Okay.
can try while the film is running in the background. You can try again with
Okay,
the camera.
let's do that.
And Noel and Michelle, just briefly, if you want to say
Anna,
something.
your voice is low. Is it possible to make it higher, like to us, or? is it-
Okay, I try to. Can you make the sound louder for them
Yeah,
to hear?
That's
But
better.
that's better already.
Better already, good. And
Yes.
when you want to say something, please raise your hand on the computer, but also for real, because it's for me a bit difficult to see if you want to say something.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sure.
we start the session now with this tech adventure, and we will first of all watch a 15-minute film. So if you don't hear from us in the next 15 minutes, that's intentional. And let's hope the connection stays. Okay, Franzi, wollen wir anfangen? Cool. No, wait, we do an introduction
Meine Mutter
first.
war eine gute Heimatspielerin.
We will see the film in a minute. So, a very warm welcome to everybody here in the session, in the last collaborative session for our film screening and conversation. When we worked on the call for collaboration for this conference, we thought that film as a medium should be part of it, kind of. And that's why we called out for an open format to send in, to apply with the social de-fashion learning films, which we also show in the building. But then we also thought during this work, we kind of drive to more creative work and formed a little curators group around Anna and Sarah, who's in the back. Anna and Sarah are a team from Short Salon. And also within our team was Johanna and Lisa, Maya. So we formed a little group and watched a lot of film, selected 2 of them to be seen today, and we invited the filmmakers into this session. So the whole screening will be followed by conversation and kindly facilitated by Anna. And the conversation is led or will be done by the filmmakers and Lisa Maya, who's professor for film costume, and Ira Solomartina, forgot your name. She's a cosy theorist. So I hope you enjoy, and I think we will watch the films first the film and then discuss a little bit and then watch the other films. So enjoy.
Yeah, so welcome to this short salon. I will explain at the end what short salon is. But first of all, we're going to watch 2 movies. One is called Halma-Spiel. It's 15 minutes long by Bettina Kunz, who's here. And then, so we watch that film. It's 15 minutes, and then we have a conversation about that film for 15 minutes approximately. And then we watch Les Chinis, which is 30 minutes long, by Michelle and Noel, the women in the dark and on the train. Let's see if the camera gets working. And we have a 15-minute conversation approximately about that film. And then you're very welcome to join the conversation with all your thoughts, observations, questions, whatever it is that goes through your mind. So enjoy Halma-Spiel. In English, it's Chinese checkers. It's a game. And maybe just to start with the little synopsis, which I usually don't do, but in this case I do it because there might be a lot of codes that are very familiar to us here in Germany, but might be difficult to read if you didn't grow up here or didn't live here for a while. So it's the biography of a woman born in the Third Reich, so in the Nazi time. She lived during the GDR, East Germany, worked, and then the wall came down and her life then in the reunited Germany. So you have these 3 political systems in one biography. And yeah, so enjoy the movie.
Meine Mutter war eine gute Heimerspielerin. Sie konnte Bahnen bauen über das ganze Brett, von der hintersten Ecke bis ins Haus. Heimerspiel. Nach Arbeit, Versammlungen, Schlange stehen, kochen. Meine Mutter wird 1932 im Erzgebirge geboren. Mit Kriegsbeginn 1939 zieht die Familie nach Dresden. Vormittags Schule, nachmittags Bund deutscher Mädel. Sie sammelt für das Winterhilfswerk, verkauft Blumenanstecker. Die Banknachbarin darf nicht mitgehen, darf bald nicht mehr in die Schule. Die Familie bekommt keine Lebensmittelmarken mehr. Wird abgeholt. Die Bombennacht in Dresden. Darüber spricht sie nie. Ausgebombt. Es bleiben Nachthemd, Mantel, Schuhe, Papiere. Man hatte sich an den Fliegeralarm gewöhnt. Einquartierung bei der Tante zusammen mit Flüchtlingsfamilien. Sie geht Kartoffeln stoppeln, knabbert die gerösteten Schalen. Die schlechte Zeit, die gute Butter. Die Brüder ins Studium, die Mädchen in die Lehre. Sie lernt Schneiderin. Das Gesellenstück bewahrt sie auf. Paspeln, Biesen, Riegel, Ausschnittstickerei. Der Tanzstundenherr nennt sie Schneewittchen und will sie heiraten. Aber sie geht zum Modestudium nach Berlin. An der Kunsthochschule lernt sie meinen Vater kennen. Diplom als Modegestalterin. Sie bekommt eine Stelle im Modeinstitut. Brecht-Theater im Osten, Kino und Konzerte in Westberlin. Sommerurlaub im August 1961. Aus den Kofferradios kommt die Nachricht, Westberlin sei zu. Wieder in Berlin zurück. Die S-Bahn fährt andere Strecken. Westberlin ist ausgespart. Unvergesslich ist ein Bauarbeiter, der große graue Betonteile lustlos übereinander mauert, bewacht von einem bewaffneten Soldaten. Drüben stehen Leute. Hüben stehen meine Mutter und mein Vater und sehen zu, bis die drüben hinter der aufstrebenden Mauer verschwunden sind. Wochenlang träumen sie nachts von plötzlichen Grenzöffnungen, Zügen, die versehentlich in den Westen geraten, von über- und unterirdischen Wundern. Man hört von abenteuerlichen Fluchtversuchen, die gelingen. Die Grenzsicherungen sind noch nicht perfekt. Im Oktober ist der Hochzeitstag. Den Termin haben sie schon vor Monaten beim Standesamt vereinbart. Ein wunderschönes Fest mit den Eltern, der Familie und vielen Freunden. Die Blumen werden einzeln in Weinflaschen gesteckt. Sie halten sich wochenlang frisch in der von Natur her eiskalten Wohnung. Anfang November kommt eine Freundin zu Besuch. Sie ist mit einem Westberliner Arzt liiert und will die DDR verlassen, sucht Gleichgesinnte. Meine Mutter, mein Vater und die Freundin fahren mit der S-Bahn nach Hohenneuendorf. Sie gehen an den Schienen entlang Richtung Westberlin, verstecken sich im Wald, warten auf die Dunkelheit. Dann sehen sie die Grenzposten. Sie kehren um und werden festgenommen. U-Haft, Transporte, Prozess. Die Freunde zeigen sich enttäuscht über die simple Geschichte. Sie hatten zumindest einen Schusswechsel oder gefälschte Pässe erwartet. Der Staat gibt sich ebenfalls enttäuscht. Beschimpfung und Drangsalierung, Verurteilung. Mein Vater wird in Rummelsburg inhaftiert. Meine Mutter kommt ins Frauengefängnis Barnimstraße. Später beschreibt sie die Einzelzelle. Rechts eine Pritsche als Bett, davor das WC. Links hinten ein elend kleines Regal mit einem Blechnapf. Davor an der Wand ein Klapptisch und ein Sitzbrett, ebenfalls zum Hochklappen und grausam unbequem. Sie darf sich nur zum Essen hinsetzen, auch das Bett zu benutzen ist tagsüber verboten. Ein Handtuch gibt es nicht. Sie trocknet sich mit dem Hemd ab. Am Ende des Ganges die Zelle von Rosa Luxemburg. Mit Tisch und Stuhl, Büchern, Briefen, Blumenstrauß auf Deckchen, unvorstellbarer Luxus. Die Ehre, diese Zelle zu putzen, wird nur besonderen Häftlingen zuteil. Sie wird in eine andere Zelle verlegt. Zu Rosas Zeiten saß hier eine Gefangene, jetzt sind es 3. Zusammen bauen sie ein Heimerspiel. Das Spielfeld malen sie mit Zahnseife auf Zeitungspapier. Sie werden erwischt und das Spiel eingezogen, aber es neu und perfekter zu bauen ist das einzige Tagwerk. Wenn die nette Wächterin Dienst hat und ihnen ein altes neues Deutschland gibt. Nach 7 Monaten wird sie aus dem Gefängnis entlassen. Sie schläft die ersten Nächte im Garten. Entlassung aus dem volkseigenen Modeinstitut. Frei. Beruflich. Spielraum. Eltern, Ehemann, 2 kleine Kinder. Sie kleidet Modelle an für den Konsument-Versandhauskatalog, arbeitet für Rundfunk und Zeitungen. Mitspielen. Bahnen bauen. Später bekommt sie eine Planstelle beim volkseigenen Handelsbetrieb Exquisit, macht Trendforschung, wertet internationale Modezeitschriften aus, hält Vorträge. 1978 erscheint ihr Buch Glanz und Zauber des Schmucks. Ihr Name steht auf dem Buchrücken. Sie steht an nach Lebensmitteln, Büchern und Kleiderstoffen, kocht, näht, hilft bei Schularbeiten. Am Sonnabend putzen die Eltern gemeinsam. Kinder soll man nicht im Zweifel aufwachsen lassen, sagt Mama. Ein Satz von Oma, die 4 Kinder in der NS-Zeit großgezogen hat. Einrichten, anpassen, Alltag. Mein Vater wird Architekturprofessor und tritt in die Partei ein, die immer recht hat. Sie lacht gern und viel. Schallplatten, Rotwein, Trabi oder Wartburg, Familienurlaub in Bruderländern. Die Fackel der Revolution. Brigade Breuler Beratungsmuster. Konsum Delikat Intershop. Die Illusion, etwas aufzubauen. Sich, den Kindern, der Menschheit. Wendezeit. Wir sind das Volk. Fall der Berliner Mauer 1989. Wir sind ein Volk. Neues Spiel, neues Glück. Neue Spielregeln, neue Glücksregeln. Die Eltern üben das neue Wörtchen super. Sie reisen, besuchen Verwandte, treffen Freunde aus der ganzen Welt, kaufen französischen Rotwein und Käse. Die Stelle meines Vaters wird durch einen Professor aus dem Westen besetzt. Der Prozess dagegen ist erfolgreich, aber lang und schmerzhaft. Meine Mutter wird wegen Betriebsschließung entlassen, steht Schlange nach dem Aushilfsjob. Wer braucht eine wissenschaftliche Mitarbeiterin für DDR-Mode? Vielleicht nur noch Schokolade essen, ein dickes Fell anlegen? Sie hört auf, kalt zu duschen. Kämpfen? Wogegen, wofür? Spielverderber sein? Neue Netzwerke, neue Funktionen. Fehlfunktionen, Wucherungen. Keine Zeit für Wehleidigkeit. Die Eltern schreiben Erinnerungen auf. Für die Kinder, die Enkel, die Rehabilitierungsbehörden. Erst jetzt erfahren wir, dass unsere Eltern im Knast waren. Wegen versuchter Republikflucht. Meine Mutter hat Schmerzen, nimmt Medikamente. Sie geht zu Untersuchungen an neuen Geräten bei alten Ärzten. Doktors Spiele. Befall, Zerfall, Zweifel, Zerfraß. Sie hält aus, sie kämpft. Hoffen auf ein Wunder. Und Ende.
Okay, I would like to ask on stage to join me Ira, Bettina, Lisa, and an applause for this beautiful film. Yeah, so because it's before we start the conversation here, maybe because there's so much information in the film and there might be some misunderstandings or information missing, is there anything you need explanation for? Anything you couldn't decipher or follow or decode? No, everybody feels well informed. Hi, Noelle. I saw Michelle already, so she's there. You raise your hands. So that we can see when you want to join the conversation. So to my left is Lisa. She's also a professor here at the UDK, also for, I don't know if costume design is a film costume design. And Ira was also already introduced by Franziska. She's a scholar in fashion theory, is that correct? And Bettina is the director of the film you just saw. So I always very much enjoy kind of rewatching through the eyes of somebody else. In this case, through the eyes of two people who know very much about the fashion world, fashion history, and costume. So my first question to all of us, also to Michelle and Noelle, is what went through your mind when you watched the film? Lisa, you want to start, or Ira, you want to start?
Wir haben ausgemacht, dass ich Deutsch sprechen will, weil ich im Englisch nicht so sicher bin.
Translate.
Ich war total weggeblasen im Sinn von, mit welchen Mitteln, welche dichte Biografie erzählt wird und wie erlebbar ich meine, dass die wird. Und interessanterweise habe ich gedacht, ich hätte deine Mutter im Film nie gesehen. Die ersten 2 Mal, wo ich den Film gesehen habe. Jetzt das 3. Mal habe ich gesehen, dass sie doch noch auftaucht.
So Lisa was blown away by the means, the way this film tells the biography of Bettina's mother. And she watched it now for the 3rd time, and now for the 3rd time she actually realized she did see the mother in the film. She didn't realize the first 2 times that there is actually an image of the mother.
Yeah, the photography at the end, or the film. Yes, I tried to tell the film without photographies of my mother. That was a challenge to show her life only with her, things from the family stuff or things I bought. Things maybe she worked with, she did her little sewing piece and so on. And at the end, I spoke with my uncle about the time and the 1968, and he said, "Oh, I have a film. We were together in August 1961 when the wall was built. We were together on vacations, and I have a film about it." And so I decided, I saw the film, and saw my mother laughing, and thought that can be a piece of the film, but in the very end.
But you know, it's so beautiful that after you have told the whole story and the story of her life, we go back and we see this very young, very happy looking woman. And I guess that's also how you would like to remember someone whom you held dear, right? To see them happy, to see them with the whole promise of the youth and the life ahead of them, which is such a beautiful ending to this film, I felt.
Yes, I never saw her this like, because it was in 1961 and I was born 2 years later. I've never seen this film before, but for me it was very moving as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And as I was watching the movie, I could not stop thinking about how, you know, there is this huge contrast between the game of checkers that is very clear and very straightforward, and if you know the rules, you will definitely win or you will definitely master your game. And it is constantly compared to this chaos that is the outside life, because you can invent the rules, you can invent the routines, you can create some sort of order, but then the life interferes and kind of breaks everything, which I thought was so interesting, because you're talking about how your mother was a great player in checkers and how she was really good at it, and then you talk about how your parents were establishing this very ordered life. You know, on Sunday we're cleaning the apartment, we're going into vacation together. It all seems to be very structured in a way, like a game of checkers. But then it gets interrupted, not just once, but multiple times throughout the movie. And I thought that this contrast, and also the fact that there is this very straightforward, very ordered game of checkers, I thought that it was maybe an intentional metaphor, maybe just, a metaphor that happened to be there, but it was an interesting one.
I think if you live in a society, you always know the rules of the game. And if the society and all changes, you have to learn new rules. If you go to Asia, for instance, or to another country or something like this, you have to change your life and to have to learn new rules. And this was especially my feeling when the wall came down, because it was another game. And so for me, that's an image for this time.
You wanted to add something to this?
No, just an association.
No, share your association.
Yeah. Well, there was this exhibition a few years ago that I thought was super, super interesting by an Indonesian artist, a performance artist. Her name is Melati Suryadarmo. And one of her most famous works is called The Butter Dance. And I kind of thought about this when I was watching the movie, because in this performance, the artist is dancing, and she's dancing tango, so she's following choreography and she's doing everything perfectly and she's quite good at it. But the thing is that she's dancing on butter and she's sleeping all the time. And she goes back to dancing over and over again, kind of doing this perfected choreography, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to be a successful dance, because she's dancing on butter and she will fall anyway. And it's it probably also something that I'm thinking about, this mass of the history that was in the 20th century, because however good you're doing your dance, however good you're doing your choreography, like you would be swept off your feet and you would fall.
That's life.
That's life. Exactly.
Michelle.
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you now.
Me too. Good to see you all.
Where are you, in Marseille?
I am in Marseille, exactly.
Okay. So what went through your mind when you watched Halmaspiel, Chinese checkers?
Yes, this is the second time I watched it now a bit again. And me too, I really, you can watch it several times and see it in different ways. I think the thing that was the most touching for me is that from like wooden figures and drawings, we can get that much of emotions without really getting exaggerating in any way. So it's so touching. And I think also getting narratives that are very like true and authentic, even if they are not easy sometimes, are the reason why I love films. So I really loved it very much on many levels.
So maybe, Bettina, you can talk a little bit about, because I also thought it's interesting how objects become documents and how a sewing pattern becomes a comment on history. Sort of these objects, where are they from? Are they authentic in the sense that they were your mother's?
Some of them were in the family, and I was astonished how many objects I found and at my grandmother's as well in the old house. And some of them I bought on eBay as usual, because I wanted to show these sewing patterns in the time with sewing patterns from that time, from the 50s, from the 60s, from the 70s, from the 80s until the 19th. I like to tell animated documentaries with documents. This was a goal in this film for me, and that is interesting for me to show the documents. And it's a mixture, but they are authentic in the sense they are from the time.
And I think you said in another interview that because of the bombing of Dresden and the fires, the actual photos and other memories were burned of
Yes.
your family.
Yes, there are only a few photos that came later to us from other members of the family, or some things from the 50s. They were bombed out, but I found some special details.
And Noel, can you speak without us seeing you, or is the connection gone? Okay, then we cover until Noel is back. She might be in a tunnel somewhere in Italy right now, on the train. Can I, because this is also about fabrics, textile, sort of tactile objects, can you talk about the flowers in the film?
Mhm. Yes, they are from fabric as well, and these are 3 sequences from different times. And the first from the 1930s, these were so Anstecker,
Like buttons,
like
pins.
buttons, and they were sold for the Winterhilfswerk. That meant young girls like my mother in this time collected money with selling some buttons, different kinds to the people, and they gave money for the soldiers to buy winter clothing. And this is the first sequence, or the flowers from the first sequence. In the second sequence, these are flowers from the GDR. This, was heißt Nelke? My Nelke.
Clove. I think clove is
Clove, yeah.
coronation? Carnation.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, for the 1st May in the GDR, there were big demonstrations on the street, and the red flower was a button as well, or a wink element.
Element is a great word, is a GDR word. It's a little flag.
So like a flag, so the people showed it to show their a connection to the state, to the GDR, and I had some of them as well because I like these little flowers. And the other flowers, you can see they were made from plastic as well. And for the International Women's Day, they sold it as well as buttons, or they stood in little glasses on the tables and so on. Yeah, and at the end, the 3rd sequence is with flowers you can buy today, made somewhere, I think most of them made in China, these silk flowers and orchids, and I used them to show how the world opened.
Yeah, I only noticed just now that little girls would sell silk flowers for heavy winter clothes for
Soldiers
men
for
at
the
war.
Yes.
What a
Mhm.
strange journey. Noel, you're back. What went through your mind when you saw Halmarspiele? I hope you're not frozen.
I think she is frozen.
And by the way, we're going to meet you afterwards. Yeah, it's frozen. Okay, so we have to come back to it. Thank you for this first quick round about Halmarspiel. And we move on to Les Chenilles, the film by the two sisters, Michelle, who is also they co-directed the film, and Michelle is also the scriptwriter of the film, and Noëlle, the frozen lady on the train, you will see her on screen in a minute. And enjoy Les Chenilles.
بسنة 462 على عهد ميكادو يولاي في بسنة 462 على عهد ميكادو يولاي في أمير ياباني توجه للنساء يلي بيشتغلوا بصناعة الحرير وقال لهم بنص صدركم تكمن الحرارة المعتدلة المثالية يلي تنمو فيها الشرانق، إنه بنص صدري أنا درجة الحرارة مثالية لديدان القز لتكبر وتكتمل الشرنقة. الشرنقة يلي انحطت بين أثداء النساء لقرون حتى تنتج الحرير، هن نفسهم النساء يلي صبغوا غزلوا ونسجوا بس ولا مرة قدروا يلبسوه. بظن من وقتها بلشت المشاكل. مبدئياً قصتي بلشت بالقرن ال19 لما انتشروا سفراء مصانع الحرير الفرنسية ببلاد الشام وخاصة بجبل لبنان. بسبب أمراض أصابت زراعاتهم بأوروبا حولوا نظرتهم على بلادنا، انتشروا يعرضوا مبالغ مصاري على الفلاحين ليتلفوا زراعاتهم ويستبدلوها بشجر التوت. الفلاحين اعتبروها فرصة ما بتتفوت، والمقابل قضوا على 40% من الزراعات يلي بتلبي حاجاتهم الأساسية وزرعوا محلها شجر توت. من بعدها بلشت مصانع الحرير تطلع بالمنطقة طبعاً، بس الفلاحين ما انتبهوا إنه بعد سنين مانا طويلة الشركات الفرنسية ممكن تترك جبل لبنان وتشوف مصلحتها ببلاد صناعية تانية، وإنه ورق التوت يلي بيطعموه للدود ما بيتاكل. بسأل حالي مرات هل كنت بوصل لهون لو ما تلفوا الزراعات الأساسية، لو ما صارت المجاعة وما تعلقنا ببلاد تانية وركزنا على الاكتفاء الذاتي كتير شغلات. برجع بقول شو بيغير إنه أفكر بكل هاي الأشياء هلأ طالما ما فيني أعمل ولا شي. رجعي على المطبخ.
J'essaie de faire bien, mais franchement...
Non, c'est pas possible. فراش ما راح تضاين أكتر من 10 أيام.
Comment?
بدون ما بحكي. هي قصة زمن، وقت انتشروا فيه سفراء مصانع الحرير من مدينة ليو مرسيليا بجبل لبنان. أنشأوا مياتم لحتى يشغلوا من خلالها بنات قاصرات بمعمل الحرير لمدى الحياة. غير الأيتام، انتشروا سفراء يطلبوا من رجال الجبل أنه يسمحوا لنسائهم وبناتهم القاصرات أنه يشتغلوا بالمصانع. كانت أول مرة المرأة تطلع من بيتها حتى تشتغل، أول مرة بتقبض معاش. المشهد كان صعب كتير بالنسبة للرجال، بس المصاري اللي كانت تنتجها نسائهم واللي كانت تعيش العيلة كلها خلتهم يصرفوا النظر وما يركزوا على الموضوع. النساء إيديهم أصغر وأكتر مهارة. إيديهم الصغيرة يلي كانوا مجبورين يحطوها بمواد كيماوية حتى يسحبوا خيط الحرير من الشرنقة. إيديهم يلي انجبروا يوقعوا فيها على عقود شغل ما بيعرفوا حتى يقروها، عقود بتنص على أنهم مديونين للشغل بمعمل الحرير الكبير المعتم الرطب للأبد. العقود يلي سببت بفقدان سمعتهم وحولتهم لعاملات، بنات المعامل. بيقولوا إنه بالمعامل المعتمة الرطبة صوت المكنات كانت عالية لدرجة إنه ما يقدروا النساء حتى يحكوا مع بعض. بس رغم كل شيء صداقات بين العاملات انبنت، صداقات من النوع اللي بتقدر تنقذ روح. هي الاديسيون لطاولتك. سارة شوفي. Putain, l'addition! L'addition!
صراحة ما حسيتها راكدة ورا زبونات بس لأن ما دفعوا، حسيتها يمكن راكدة ورا سنين من الشغل المش مدفوع، أو راكدة ورا الإمبراطور يلي حط الحشرات بصدرها، ورا أصحاب المعامل يلي مضوها على عقود ما بتعرف تقراها، زميلها بالشغل يلي كل مرة بياخد لها قداحتها عن قصد وبيعمل حاله مش عارف إنها مش لإله. يمكن كانت راكدة ورا حبيبها يلي كذب، أو ورا صاحب الشغل يلي بيجبرها تشتغل 7:30 مع إنه دوامها بيخلص على 6. ما بعرف، حسيتها كانت راكدة ورا كل حدا مفكر إنه يمكن هي ما بتقدر تركض.
خلص ما تعتني هم، هلا أنا بشوف شو بعمل بحكيهم، أنا بحلها وبشوف شو بصير، ما تعتني هم شيء، أنا بحلها وأنا بشوف.
بلوم دودة القز الغبية. بيقولوا خيط العنكبوت أقوى وأجمل بكتير، وإنه ممكن ينصنع أحسن حرير بخيوطه. بس المشكلة هي إنه العناكب ما بتصنع خيطان غير حتى تصيد لتاكل، حتى تنتقل من مكان للتاني، حتى تقتل دفاعاً عن النفس، عكس دودة القز اللي تروضت حتى ما تعمل ولا شيء غير تنتج حرير لحد ما تموت. على عكس دودة القز، العنكبوت ما حدا قدر يسيطر عليه.
وصلت على هيدا البلد كل ما حاولت أنسى أكتر كل ما تذكرت. كان جسمي مخرب، عم ببالغ بردة الفعل أو ما عم بيتفاعل بالمرة. كأن ما تكيف مع هالمكان الجديد، كأنه جسمي كمان رافض ينسى. معود يعيش بحالة طوارئ دايمة، معود يوقف حيلا ردة فعل ويخلي الأمور تقطع من دون ما يعد أيام، ويخلي السنين تقطع. بتفرج على الناس اللي معهم زهور بإيديهم، الناس اللي رايحين على الشغل، ناس عم يتغدوا بمطعم بالشمس، وبحس تقل بصدري تحديداً، بيقطع لي نفسي. كل ما أتفرج على الخفة بيرجع التقل والشعور بالذنب. شو بقلها حتى تروق؟ إنها مثلي فراشة، أو بخبرها عن الخيط الرفيع يلي بيربطنا ببعض.
يا ماما كيفك حبيبتي؟ منيحة أنا كتير. اليوم اللي وصلت بكيت حوالي 1.5 ساعة بس، فترة انتظار الأجانب ليقطعوا الفحص الأمني لجواز السفر على المطار. 1.5 ساعة، مو أكتر ولا أقل. بعد هاليوم بوقت قصير فهمت أني بمدينة جديدة بقدر أكون شخص جديد مثل بالأفلام. الفكرة أغرتني كتير. فجأة عصبت من شي من الماضي، نوع من الديجافو، من نص 1800 لكون أكتر دقة، لما بعد سنين من الشغل بالمعامل الرطبة قرروا نساء المصانع يشتروا شي لحالهم من معاشهم الخاص، المصاري يلي ضحوا بسنين حياتهم حتى يطلعوه. وبوقتها انتشر المثل الشهير يلي لسه بنسمعه لليوم، يلي بتطلعوا السمرة بتحطوا بودرة وحمرة. سألت حالي ليش النساء نفسهم يلي بصدورهم ربوا الشرانق، يلي نقعوا إيديهم بالمواد الكيماوية وغزلوا ونسجوا لقرون ليصنعوا الحرير، ما قدروا بحياتهم يلبسوه. أوردر. Oui, Madame Caroline, en fait, je suis toujours dans la rue, j'arrive pas à trouver une solution pour les clés. Est-ce que vous pouvez me rappeler? Merci, au revoir. جاكيتك؟ شكرا.
بدك سيجارة؟
ما بعرف لف.
أنا بفضل.
خليني أجرب.
شو رح تعملي؟
بي؟
المفتاح. المفتاح.
عم حاول زبطها، حكيت مع رفيقتي لنشوف شو بيصير.
ليك اذا بدك نحن بكلوك عنا
لا لا
حلباية.
لا ما تاكلي هم. رح شوف شو بيصير. يلا سلامات.
امشي معي. صار لك زمان عايشة هون؟
يعني شي 5 سنين.
فكرة تزوري شي مرة؟
ايه بيتول؟ ايه قولي لي. ايه هلا ما قصة انه انت مسافرة، بس معقول عم تطلبي مني انه ارجع حاكي بعد كل شي سوا؟ ما فيني حاكي. خلص طيب روحي، رح لاقي حل. دبر حالك، يلا روحي. باي باي. خلص وصلت. شكرا.
رح ضل هون طمنيني.
عن جد ما في داعي.
رح ضل. نفق ازعجني، عتمة وكله مسكر، أصوات.
عستي؟
عست شوي.
تشيرز.
بس منيحة البيرة هلا. صراحة أنا ما عم بقدر نام بالبيت أصلاً. بيعمل لي قلق الكلوب وناس كتار بالبيت. بفضل أتمشى صراحة. شو بطبخن أنا؟ ضل اطبخ 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 بيطلعوا ما بيتاكلوا، بس بصورهم ببعث لهن بقول انا انه خليها تنبسط هي تشوف انه انا عم باكل منيح، برجع بكبهم لانه ما بيتاكلوا. بس بتكون طلعت ريحة البيت شي حلو هيك، بترجع على قليل ريحة البيت بتكون شي بذكر حلو.
كل سامحشي انا ما عم يزبط معي ابدا.
انا ولا شي عم يزبط معي.
احسن شي هديك السنة قدرت شوفها، بس في هيك شي كان غريب كتير، ما كنت عم بقدر شوفه على السكايب او على الواتساب. كنا عم نحكي دائما. وقت شفتها هيك قدامي كانت مغيرة كتير، كبرانة.
منيحة؟
منيحة هي هيك، بس بتحسي هيك الزمن مبين علي العمر. شعرها ابيض كان. موبايلي اكس ار ما لقط هذا التفصيل.
ما بيبينوا بالتفاصيل على سكايب، ما هيدي المشكلة.
أنا عم بحس هلا آخر فترة إنه ما عم بقدر أحضر شي غير فيديو، شي طبيعة، حيوانات، مي، بحر.
عبالك نسبح؟
لا بلاها.
كثير حلو عن جد، مي باردة هلا بتكون، هذا الضوء لك السما شو حلوة. ايش قومي.
لا بلاها، أنا بخاف.
طيب ليش؟
بوترنا هالشي، بخاف.
ليش بتضلي بتقولي لي انك خايفة؟ ليش؟
بتعرفي شو بحس كمان؟ بحس إنه أنت بتخافي إنه تخافي.
تماما ايه، ما بحب هيك فكرة ابدا.
بركي أيام فيك شوي صغيرة ترخي.
هيك يعني حاسة انت؟
إنه مش ضروري كل الوقت الواحد يكون ممنوع الخوف.
طيب هلا قاعدين هون على رواق جنب المي وليكي السما شو حلوة.
عرفني بعد ما في توازن.
يمكن كانت عرفانة اني بعرف عن السر يلي مخبيته، عن ليش ما قدرت تتنفس لما انكسر الازاز هداك النهار، عن ليش بتفضل تمشي كل الليل عن انه ترجع على بيتها وما تقدر تنام من ورا الكوابيس يلي بتلحقنا من بلد لبلد، عن ليش بطلت قادرة تقاوم، عن سبب وجودها هون بهي المدينة. يمكن كانت عرفانة اني بعرف راسها بعد ما تلقى خبر انه صارت بامان، ولساته مصر يقول لها تحركي، اعملي شي حتى بالسكون لما ما يكون في شي ينعمل. كانت عرفانة اني بعرف حالة الاستغراب لما ما يكون في حالة طوارئ، نحنا اللي مالنا متعودين نعيش من دونه. لما الهدوء بعد العواصف بياخد شكل فراغ او نقص، وبيصير عدم وجود الضغط مشكلة تانية لازم لها حل. كل هدول فهمتهم من اللحظة اللي شفتها فيها على الطاولة رقم 4.
بعد ما بعرف أميز بين الصوت الرون هون.
شفتيني وني؟
وين؟
هي أنا حملتك وقت دفشتك ذاك النهار.
إذا هي طريقتك لتعتذري مقبولة، بس إذا بتركزي مزبوط، إذا أنت الشخص يلي حامل يعني أنت الشخص يلي محمول بنفس الوقت. هذا زلمة حامل تقل حاله، عندهم نفس الوجه، نفس الشخص.
فجأة بمكان غريب كل شي صار مألوف، وفهمت إنه قصتنا بلشت من قرون من السواد تغللت بأفكارنا، بلون عيوننا، وبخصل شعرنا. وفكرت يمكن كان معها حق، بدون ما أغوص بالسواد ما رح أعرف أرتاح.
خيطك بيدي ناعم لكن علي بحبك طريقي بيدي بسند علي لاقي بالعيد ما دربي واني مرهون بحالي بلوم قلبي هديني ضميني
سألت حالي كيف معقول شخص من كم ساعة كان غريب يصير صديق طفولة من غروب شمس لشروق. بيقولوا إنه بالمعامل المعتمة الرطبة صوت المكنات كانت عالية لدرجة إنه ما يقدروا النساء يحكوا حتى مع بعض، بس رغم كل شيء صداقات بين العاملات انبنت، صداقات من النوع يلي بتقدر تنقذ روح.
Okay, Lisa, you want to start again. Was ging dir durch den Kopf?
Wo ich den das erste Mal gesehen habe, habe ich gedacht, das ist ein sehr direkt erzählter Film, sinnlich erfahrbar und spricht meinen Intellekt an.
So when I saw the film for the first time, I thought this is a film that goes to my emotion and my senses just the same way as it goes to my intellect, which means very directly.
Und auch wenn das sehr heftige Themen sind und waren, habe ich mich gefreut darüber, dass ich das Gefühl hatte, ich werde als Zuschauerin ernst genommen.
And even though these topics are very heavy, I had the feeling that I'm taken serious as an audience.
Und es war auch ein sehr eine sehr körperliche Filmerfahrung.
And it was a very physical experience to watch this film. So Michelle, a lot of compliments. Does it trigger
Whoa.
an answer?
Of course, I'm happy to hear that people connect to the film. It's always wonderful to hear that.
And we have another guest. Maybe Mr. Kaul is the speaker of the next panel. I don't know. We're hijacking him. Noel, you could hear the compliments for the film.
Anna, I wish, can I say something?
Yes,
because
sure,
it's
sure.
cutting a lot here.
Say
It's, I would love to say I'm so sorry. I wanted to be with you guys.
Yeah, so she
You
was.
know, she's my sister, and I know what she will say. Okay, so she will
Can you hear
say,
me?
Noel, I will talk because you are cutting very much. So I will tell them what you told me on WhatsApp. Okay? Okay, I think she's just saying she would have loved to talk more, not only about this film, but about the film that she saw because she loved it, the one before. So I think she's trying to express that, but now she's frozen again. But yes, if she writes me something on WhatsApp, I will communicate it to you guys.
Okay. Ira, what went? Yeah. Noel, go on. We
I
jump
would
back.
say just, I'm so sorry. I would have loved to be with you. It's a work emergency. That's why I'm in the train. But I'll let Michelle, I think, better to be able to focus with everyone. And I'll leave you in peace. But just speak soon.
Okay.
Bye, Noel.
But do you want to just
Bye.
say before you freeze
Bye.
again your thoughts on Halmaspiel, and then you're allowed to freeze
نوال
again?
قلت لهم انك حضرتي
Yes.
حبيتي
Yes, yes. I would love to say how I feel like I have always been a big believer in the importance of transmitting the collective memories of very harsh events that happened in the past historically, because on a human scale sometimes we always forget, and we tend to like not learn enough from what happened before with the generations before. So it's such an important film, and it's very well done, I feel, in a very sensitive and subtle way. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, anytime. Thank you very much. And now it didn't cut, but I'll stop so that you can also have a clear and calm interaction.
Okay, so we
thanks
wish
a
you a
lot.
good
Bye.
wish you a good train ride.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Noel.
Bye.
Yes, to kind of hook on to what Noel just said, I think that both movies are kind of seen really nicely back to back together, because both of them managed to treat very grave and difficult events, but with some lightness that makes them so interesting, but also so charming. And Le Chenil, for instance, does touch upon so many themes that we have discussed today, also during the conference. For instance, how the injustices and the cruelty and violence that took place ages ago still continue to shape the world that we live in today, and still continue to shape fashion, which I think Le Chenil also makes a beautiful commentary on. And earlier today we spoke about why at all is there any need for fashion education, and or for fashion at all. And I do think that in one moment of this film that we just saw, it kind of expresses the hope and the dream and all the beauty and lightness that goes into our imagination of clothes. When it is Masa's character who buys the red blouse, which is kind of the standout moment for me in the film as well, you can see how her perception of herself and her perception of everything around her immediately shifts. Everything becomes, you know, just brighter, everything becomes just happier. And it is such a beautiful embodiment of why at all we want to wear clothes at all, and why at all we want to buy certain things, and why we imbibe things that we wear with an aura, hope, love, why we want something material.
Do you want to talk about that moment in the film, Michelle, when she buys the red blouse? Why is it red?
Yes.
Why is it a blouse? Why is she doing
Yes.
it online?
Yes, I think that when we were thinking about the film, we wanted to do something that is not that is in the clothing wise and everything related to the aesthetics, even if we want to use them, but we want to use them only in specific places where we need them. Let's say Noelle is wearing always something very like Sarah, the character is wearing something that is always like very discreet, black. And we didn't want the film to look like when we put sometimes women in film, we sort of rely sometimes on their bodies or something like that, and we didn't want that. So the moment where she wears the blouse, we will understand a lot of her thoughts before she wore it. So she bought it actually. Why did she buy it? Because she's frustrated from things from before. So it's really an expression of something really deep. And when she buys it, you will see it even at the beginning, she will fix it and all. And at the end of the film, when dawn comes, we'll see that the shirt is, we unbuttoned it from here. You see even her makeup and all. She's still feeling this comfort and confidence wearing this blouse, but in another way. So it was, we wanted something to look powerful, energetic, and in the context of the film for it to be a moment where you do feel that everything is connected, not only what we wear, but how they're done, why they're done, why are we spending our money on them. So there are many questions there. But I also admit that I'm thinking about those things more now that I'm listening to your conference as well, because I also followed a bit before ours. And I started thinking, why did we take those choices? And now it's becoming clearer. So yes, it's interesting to think about those.
And the choice that she buys it online. So she buys an object that is very much about touching. It's silk. You want to feel it. You also want silk because it feels good. But she's buying it online. Can you tell us about that decision?
Yes, and it's fake silk, because she can't afford the not fake silk. So it's not like a statement about it's fake silk, because it's also a moment in the film where we show that sometimes we react with what we have, and it's not always ideal. So like being online, buying online, even this culture of buying to prove something or whatever, it's not a moral thing that she's doing. She's just reacting to this reality with what she has, which is not too much since she's a waitress. So we did focus on the scene to do this website where it's next to the silk when she's buying, it's written that it's not real silk. Because even we thought, what is the price of this shirt that she can buy as a waitress? She can't pay much neither. But it's just this sentence also that stayed in our heads when we were doing the research, that women always work in silk but are never can never afford to buy it, and it's really frustrating. So we thought, and always, of course, when we write a film, it's us reacting in a way. So we sometimes react in a way that is so, you don't think too much, you just want your sort of personal revenge in a way. So this whole scene of her talking about this history and this proverb that they used to say about women not knowing how to spend their money, because this is also a quote that emerged when women started working in silk, because it was the first time that women got out of the house. to work. Before that, there was no jobs for them out of the house. So it is frustrating, and we still hear it today, let's say, around us in Lebanon or in other countries where, yes, everything you'll buy, you'll spend it on makeup, as if you don't know how to spend your money. So it is this thing that you drag with you from the past, and your revenge is symbolic. I think everything we sort of do, like in films or in life, has a big part that is we express and all, but we don't, how do we say, we don't fake as if it's gonna change the world, or we're doing this moral statement that will change everything. It's not that. Expressing with what we have. For us, it's a short film, and in this short film, this short scene. So we do what we can. It's important to always also put things into like a realistic context.
So Lisa and I, we had many conversations about this film, and one question was, why red?
Yes. I think it was so clear when I was writing it, and of course, Noel and I, we work on all the details in the film as well. So we went to the shops to pick the shirt. There is no, professional who shows us photos and all. No, we wanted to go to see it, to touch it, and we had this mission on this one day. And when I wanted it to show with Masa, having black hair and being a bit, let's say, having this dark sort of side of her character in a way, I wanted to be the opposite, something very bright, and on the camera as well, to show this energy that she has inside of her. So when I saw it, I showed it to Noel, and right away we both agreed, as if even on paper we saw it was like this. We wanted it to be not very sophisticated in the cut, but at the same time a bit like she's faking it for one day, that today it's as if I'm wearing silk, as if finally I got paid for the hard work that I did, but in her head. So the design and everything, it really took time. The snow that she has on her neck, I think if it wasn't there, her whole scenes would have been different, if it was like a normal shirt that might be worn by a waitress on this day. We wanted it to be weird. So this is part of why we chose it.
Ja, ich möchte jetzt eine Beobachtung teilen, weil ich fand es spannend, dass es rot ist, weil das hat ja was eingeläutet über eine Farbe, was im Film kommen wird. Ja.
So I would like to add an observation, because this red is like an annunciation, an announcement of the things to come.
Und ich fand es interessant, dass die Bluse hochgeschlossen war und das auch noch betont wurde.
And I thought it was interesting that it was buttoned up, I think you say, like it would cover the neck, and it was even emphasized that it's closed. The cleavage is not visible.
Weil die ganzen Kostüme davor sind ja darauf ausgerichtet, dass in relativ Nahaufnahmen auf diese Stelle zwischen den Brüsten hingewiesen wird, ja, bis zum T-Shirt.
Especially because you emphasized the cleavage and the space between the breasts in the images before.
Und dann ausgerechnet in dem Moment, wo wir als Zuschauerin spüren über die Farbe und auch über das Material, irgendwas wird passieren, wir wissen es noch nicht, ist das eine hochgeschlossene Kleidung. Das war so eine Spannung, die da reingekommen ist, die ich sehr interessant fand.
And in that moment where we as an audience can feel something is about to happen, something is about to maybe open up, the blouse is closed.
Und dann,
which creates an interesting tension.
Ja,
Sorry, I forgot.
Dann macht sie die Bluse wieder auf, das hast du vorhin auch gesagt, und jetzt kriegt es aber wie eine neue Bedeutung. Das ist nicht mehr der Verweis auf diese Stelle, sondern es ist wie ein Akt von Befreiung. Sichtbar werden, auch in der Nacht, über Rot, und gleichzeitig sich wirklich so ein Befreiungsschlag aus der Hose offen.
And as you said, then towards the end of the film, the blouse is being opened, but it's not open as in the beginning of the film, where we see the reason for the place for the silkworms in a way, but actually as an act of liberation, an act of being visible in the dark night. So that
True,
was the
I think it's a very nice observation. It's a very nice observation. Um, what if we would have done a shirt that is open for Masa, the whole film would have taken another turn in a way in her intentions, I feel. Not everything that we want when we're wearing clothes is to be attractive, especially in this way. Sometimes we want to express things when we wear clothes that are very different. And it's frustrating sometimes in the commercial way that we see fashion, that we see that there is sort of like one way to attract or to be cool that is more emphasized. And sometimes we feel many things that are not expressed um, in a very easy way in fashion. For Masa, for the beginning, of course, we will show the breasts and all that because this is one of the topics that we're talking about in the beginning. But it's not used in a way to sexualize them because the subject needs it or nothing at all. It's really, we couldn't have done anything else to open the film, in my opinion. But then later on, we don't need that at all. It's not the core of the subject. It's to trigger, and then their intentions go way beyond the what many viewers expressed sometimes that they expected in the beginning of the film. They see her wearing a shirt, and now, of course, we're gonna go back to that. But no, she has other tense things that she's feeling that she wants to express that go way beyond the subject.
Ich weiß nicht, ob jetzt hier ein Missverständnis aufgetaucht ist. Ich habe das nie als sexualisiertes oder pornografisches Bild gesehen, überhaupt nicht. Ich habe es mehr empfunden als, es wird mir direkt gezeigt, um welche Körperstelle es geht. Es wird die Körpertemperatur angesprochen und das nehme ich mit für den Rest des Films. Was mit diesen Körpern im Film geschieht, was mit den Arbeiterinnen geschieht, was mit den Arbeiterinnen in den Seidenfabriken geschehen ist und. Dieses Körpergefühl nehme ich mit, diese Temperatur, diese Wärme und der Clash mit den politischen Systemen, die darüber gelegt werden.
So maybe there's a misunderstanding, Lisa said, because for her those first images of the cleavage, they were not sexually charged. Quite the opposite.
I understood that.
Yeah, okay. They were more like an introduction, like a prelude to the film, in the sense that they would show a part of the body and make us feel the warmth at that place, the physicality at that place, which will then carry through the film and be sort of covered by the political themes and all the other themes, but it is sort of like a tone that, like I don't know how, ich weiß nicht, Lisa, it's always so beautiful what she says in German. It's really hard to translate in English. But I hope I said everything.
But I understood that what I'm responding to was not the comment that she was saying what she was saying. I understood it and I appreciate it very much. I was saying that because the film has been in many places with different kind of audiences, and we did get questions here and there. So I'm talking mostly about what some viewers can expect when starting with a film like that and then seeing a shirt. They will expect that, okay, this is the place where, but no, we go to other places that talk about warmth and intimacy, but not, I don't need one specific image to show that. I can show it in the narrative itself, in many kinds of images that are maybe people walking or a statue or whatever we pick, because that's the essence is the narrative itself, not other things. So yeah, I understood. I appreciate it very much.
Bettina, you want to share your observation?
Yes, you asked because of the first impression of the film, and my impression or my question is why did you choose these two films together and in a program? But when I saw the film now for the second time, I saw some parallel stories or motifs, like this print, for instance, of the flower with this red color mass, which leads us to the red blouse as well. So for me, that was a connection between this color when she prints the flower motif, and so this I saw as a parallel to my film as well. But for me, it would be interesting. Why did you choose these films?
Yeah, so Johanna is not here, so I talk for 3 people. Okay. Yeah, we watched quite a few short films that all had to do somehow, dealt with textile, with fashion, with, yeah. No, Lisa was there. We can both answer this question. And so it was clear for us that we would like to show Le Chenille because it has all these different layers, and it has this sort of history influencing textile production, and textile production then again influencing individual lives, and these individual lives in the past, how does that influence individual lives today? Sort of this, sort of from the macro to the micro kind of thing. And in your film it's similar, and we were very happy when we came across your film because it talks about this place here, about Berlin. So it was nice to have a film that talks about a place that is far from here, the Levante and Lyon and the Silk Road, and to have that in combination with a film that talks about experiences people made in this city, in this country. And then and I have a whole list of connections I suddenly saw today, which I can share after Ira shared hers.
Yes, we might have even thought about the same things, because upon watching both films for several times, I think that one of the remarkable things said in Le Chenille is that the friendships that were formed in the factories and also this friendship that unfolds in the movie are the ones who save the soul. And I remember in Bettina's film there is also this reference to the prison cell, right? And how women are playing Heimspiel, and probably it is also something that becomes totally soul-saving and a moment of connection. So for me it was also a very obvious connection here between the two.
And then after listening to the provocation, the talk that was just before the screening, I also thought, yeah, these are portraits of people who work in the fashion or textile industry without being portraits of people working in the fashion or textile industry. It's sort of, I quite like it how they touch upon that subject and then go away. And both deal with leaving a place. And there was another detail I didn't notice, I noticed just now. Both women, Maza, the older waitress in a way, the waitress who's longer in France already, and the mother in your film, they cannot sleep inside. Your mother had to sleep in the garden for 3 nights before she was able, after the prison experience, to actually sleep inside. And Maza, the waitress in the film, is killing time by walking through the city all night. So that was a sort of parallel I noticed just now. The other one is how trauma, we talked a lot about how trauma is remembered inside a body, how the body carries traumatic experiences. In Le Chenille, it's the panic attack, the breathing problem, how it comes out. I don't know if in your mother's case it comes out with the cancer. I guess it's cancer. But there's something that needs to get out in a sort of brutal way. And yeah, so, and this question of solidarity, I also had to think of the prison cell and these 2 women who are just spending time together, and sometimes that's enough. It could be a walk through the night, it could be a game that they play every day, but this, you can be there for somebody just by being there. And I thought that was very beautiful how those 2 films picked up on that. Michelle, you wanted to add something? Was that a sound of?
No, it was, I was sick, but I can add a small thing. Is that what I like maybe when I watched the films one after the other also, is the small details that we don't really think about. Let's say in Bettina's film, she says that her mother stopped taking long hot baths, or about chocolate, or about, I think, many things we don't even realize about ourselves, so it's difficult to write them. And in films that where you are really close to the person or close to the experience, you know the details of the details of who sleeps, how do they kill time, who is afraid of tunnels in our films. Many of our friends, after living several things, they prefer not to be in closed places. So any sentence or word that you see in the film is based on something, because it's a short, so everything is thought about. So, and I felt that in Bettina's film as well. Okay, we talk about politics, about the region, about everything, but then it goes to a small detail in our lives. Do we sleep? Do we eat well? What do we do? Who do we talk to? Who are we friends with? So all those are the things that were touching for me as well.
Ich möchte auch noch was sagen. Entschuldigung, ich möchte auch noch was sagen, auch zur Auswahl der Filme. Also wir sind hier auch in dieser Konferenz über die Groß- und Kolonialisierung, Dekolonialisierung, Lehre auch. Das ist ein bisschen jetzt ausgeklammert. Es ist auch für mich zum Beispiel, was nebst Inhalt auch eine Frage der Ästhetik und auch eine Frage des Gestus, wie diese Filme hergestellt wurden, ob man Themen, die jetzt in diesen Filmen vorkommen, mit einem Gestus von filmischen Herrschaftsverhältnissen wiederherstellt oder ob man mit anderen Mitteln damit arbeitet und auch autonom bleibt auch im künstlerischen Ausdruck. Und,
So another reason for picking those two films, especially in the context of this conference, that is so much about degrowth, about decolonization, about DDD, unlearning, was also the way these films were made and the aesthetic they choose to tell their stories. In the sense of breaking the traditional, I'm just adding this now, breaking the traditional way of making films in a very strictly hierarchical, maybe patriarchal system, authoritarian system, and also, which links up to your narrative happiness, happy narrative, the way of the narrative, the dramaturgy of the films. That was also a reason why we picked those two, because they address filmmaking as such and film aesthetics as such.
Ja, Entschuldigung. Ich bin Professorin für Filmkostümbild, Kleidung im Bewegtbild, und wenn ich das erzähle, hat man sehr oft ein Bild davon, was das sein könnte. Und ich war jetzt, in deinem Film war jetzt nicht so viel von Kostüm oder Kleidung, ich war total begeistert von dem Kostümbild vom ersten Film, weil das so direkt ist und weil es eigentlich die Community all derer, die in den prekären Verhältnissen leben, mit einschließt. Das ist wahrscheinlich auch die Kleidung, die sie tragen. Das ist keine Designerkleidung. Ja, im zweiten Film. Es ist keine Designerkleidung. Es ist auch nicht überästhetisiert, stilisiert worden, sondern man hat sich mit der Kleidung eigentlich in diese Community eingereiht. Und das fand ich ganz spannend.
So from the perspective as a scholar, as a teacher here at the UDK, University of the Arts, for film costume for film, it is also interesting in Les Chenilles. The choice of clothing is very interesting because it seems to be from the community. It seems to represent, it seems to be what they would wear anyway.
Yeah. It's their clothes, actually.
It includes.
It includes.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Like it represents something that is familiar, maybe too. I think the thing was that it was their own clothes. Meaning, we told Masa, "What do you have as clothes?" Noelle checked what she had, and this was a decision that we did not only in clothes, but in everything in the film. How would you talk about this subject let's say, we asked them both, and we had the discussion, the three of us, to build the whole narrative. So it was always discussing and seeing what is there, and us just taking it and weaving it into this narrative, trying not to impose anything, not even clothes, not even, it's only the red shirt that we really took time to find. But other than that, even Noelle, her jacket or whatever she wears, it was hers on the shoot and before the shoot and after it. And we always make fun of it because one friend was walking with Noelle in Paris and she was wearing the same clothes. And he's a friend from the Berlinale, Anna. And he told Noelle, I feel like I'm living the film with you now. And it's like an immersive experience because I feel like it's sort of the same thing to say that the choices, and this is a dream for me, to work with people who actually take all those things into consideration, meaning in trying to them come into the world of people and picking whatever it is, clothes or decoration or dialogues from what is already there, and not creating something because of a research done, I don't know, on the internet only or whatever, without getting close, really close to the people who are affected by the story or the story is about, and checking with them. And even on the decoration side, let's say, we try not to decorate anything. There is nothing in the film, it's already a bar and walking and the museum, everything was there. We came, we didn't bring. And it's a philosophy we try to keep in our films. Let's see what's there and sort of just place it in a way that makes sense, and not create some more and bring and buy things, and we try to avoid. Even what we eat, we think about it. We try to, let's say when you're filming in Lebanon, we try to make the people who are filming in a certain street to prepare the food, to work with us, all that. So they become part of the production as well. So it's also organic. And you don't come even with a truck that has food that people in this neighborhood don't eat, let's say, or the smell that they're not used to, or even those details. I think they're important, especially clothes, what they wear. We watch a lot of films where what people wear seems very constructed and sometimes not convincing. And I always wonder why. Why don't we go to people and ask them and just check what they have or whatever? Anyway, now I'm elaborating too much, but yes.
Can I ask Bettina, because the way you make your films is quite the opposite. You make everything apart from the music, even the voiceover. Tell us, is that...
Yes, I think my way to make films is a special way. I don't work with a treatment. I have a concept. I make some storyboards, but often I go other ways along. I experiment and I do research, I collect things, and then I layer them over each other, and and then the film, the film is ready. As in this case, I collected not only things but also words and phrases which my mother and my grandmother used, and so I layered them all and had a huge mountain of material, and then I sorted it out. So and I do all by myself, only the music, or sometimes some technical things, collaborating, something like that do other people. But I construct it. I also use things that are around me, so it is a mixture, but animation maybe it's something.
And you even do the voiceover yourself. Why is that important for you?
Because I do it 20, 30 times, and I can't pay an artist for that. Not only that, I do other films as well, and I work with professional speakers. But in this case, it is my story or the story of my family. And in other films also, but it's not. It's not for all films.
I tried to play a trick, but it didn't work because I read in another interview or saw in another interview that you answered this question with, I don't want to torture the voice artist because I do 20 to 40 takes and I cannot ask somebody else to do that, so I do it myself.
Yeah.
Which also talks about hierarchy and talks about how do you direct, how do you work with artists. Are there any observations, comments, questions you would like to share? You've only seen the films once, but I can really recommend watching them several times because you raise your hand if you do. I'm very curious to hear. And otherwise, I can share that I've seen, I think, Heimatspiel 5 times and Les Chenilles 15 times, maybe even more, in different contexts and with different audiences. And still with both films, I always discover something new, or I'm surprised that I didn't see that before. And in Les Chenilles, what I saw sort of grasped for the first time was the thread. I mean, you even have a chapter called The Thread, but before that chapter starts, there is the spider dance, and how she talks about the thread the spider makes and the thread the silkworm makes, and what is the purpose. For the silkworm, it's the cocoon to enable the metamorphosis, which is then used for silk and exploited, and for the spider, it's the net and the tool of empowerment in a way. So that was just an observation. It's not really a question, but how the thread, especially in this context, Gina, thread.
The thread was a good word. Beautiful movies, very touched, and I like the idea that the like fragility is also like some sort of able to thread something very strong, especially in the movie of Michel and Noël. And I just observed this, that yeah, like fragility is something that being threaded together, to stay in this metaphor of threading and fashion, that it becomes something very strong, yeah, and I like that, yeah. So something very delicate, yeah, that's all I can say. Sorry.
We can
So
keep the
emotional.
microphone in the audience. Whoever wants it can grab it from Gina. But you can sit down, Gina, and relax. If somebody wants it, they will signal to you.
Maybe one last question for Michelle, if we still have time, because in the movie there is, the film is called Les Chenilles, which is caterpillars. There are references to the silkworm and the spiders, and the characters are compared to butterflies, or rather, whether they're butterflies or not, it is not quite clear. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the symbolism that you put into the name and also into calling the both women butterflies in this movie.
Yes. First of all, Gina, thank you for your comment. It's nice that you find also strength in fragility. And Bettina, I wanted to say that when I was saying that about people constructing things, Anna, also for films, it's not the opposite of what Bettina is doing, because I think what Bettina is doing is exactly taking the story and the visuals from something based on something that is close to her and true and all that. So I think it's working in a way that is similar, but on films that are very different. So yes, now to answer the question, when we started working on the film, we didn't intellectualize it too much when we were doing the first research. What happened is that we said, whatever touches us when we're reading, we will underline it and we will highlight it, because if it touches us today, it means something automatically. And then we will introspect and see what it means. So the first sentence that struck us was the first sentence in the film about placing the cocoons in the breasts of women. And we thought, why are we so, why did this shake us that much and make us feel uncomfortable? And here we started doing two things at the same time. We started doing more research about this procedure that was done to women and seeing what touches us, and then doing another work is to compare what are we living that's touching us, that's making this touch us so much. And doing both works at the same time, it automatically connected itself together, because it's a cycle where a country comes, colonizes a place, people from the same place will also be allies with the colonizer. So you have people who also helped open those factories and treat people, women that way in the country itself. And suddenly I find myself in Lyon walking, because there's the Biennale de Lyon and we were thinking about this film. And I start seeing even on the wall stuff about silk, about the Levant region, about our region. I read and it feels like, how did I get here, given the history? So we need to dig into that as well. And then the details come of each scene, what we want to say, how can we compare it to the story of silk, and it weaved itself to sort of organically together.
Yeah, and and I just realized there's another parallel between those two films, which is both of you went through historical documents or personal documents, but very much also historical documents, and did research and then crystallized this research. Willst du dem noch was hinzufügen? Sorry, do you want to add something, Bettina, to this work with the documents and how to choose what to pick?
Yeah, I think, as she said as well, it's a very personal way to work, and which documents speak with you, which documents interact with you, or which documents touch you. And then, it's the beginning, and then you put other things together to deepen the emotion, or to go far on your way. But I think in these personal films, you always need these touching moments.
Comments, questions? No? Then to finish it... sorry, I didn't realize. Johanna.
Thank you. I really also wanted to say that I enjoyed the film, both of the films, quite a lot. And I just had a thought I wanted to share, what I was thinking earlier on when Ira also shared the idea of the performance on Bata, where the person is constantly slipping and not getting it perfectly. And then Bettina said, yes, that's life. And also within Les Genies, I saw apart from or next to the elements of the historical weight, there was also very universal feelings of like when one of the protagonists was comparing like the spider's resilience in comparison to the silkworm's fragility. For example, those themes on like sort of internalized misogyny, like when you break free of ideas that were placed onto your body and then break them and form friendships over that moment of togetherness, which is similar in fashion, like kind of situating yourself in a different way in a situation. And what we want to do with this conference is like overcoming those moments and finding the togetherness of, yes, it's a like internalized misogyny, internalized capitalism in a way, and how to break out of this idea of neoliberal like madness, I don't know. So I saw also this universal theme of coming together and both talking about it in a way in both films.
So I guess that's a perfect ending to this. And Johanna was part of the team who watched and selected the films.
Mm.
I used the very last minute to do some advertising for Short Salon, because that's what Short Salon is always about. We want to bring people together. We watch short films together. We do a conversation usually with people who are not from the film industry, but people who bring their own perspective to the table that is connected to the topic, or we do activities or whatever. but it's very much about sharing different perspectives and listening to each other. So if you like that, and you can subscribe to our newsletter or follow us on Instagram. And Michelle, thank you so much for joining from
Thank
far
you.
away Marseille, and please say hello to Noël.
I will. Thank you all. It's a pleasure, really. Thank you.
And thank you, Bettina, also for sharing your film as well and coming here, and Ira and Lisa for your thoughts and observations. And all of you for sticking around and being here and enjoy the very few last hour almost of the festival, of the conference.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.